My beloved child, do not reach too quickly for what is attracting you, because behind its appealing appearance are consequences that you cannot yet see. I do not say this to plant fear within you, nor do I want you to live suspicious of every opportunity that appears along your path. I am simply placing a necessary pause between you and a decision that may influence your future for a long time. Some things appear to be answers, but are actually tests clothed in favorable circumstances. Some doors open so quickly that you assume they must be the reward for months of waiting. Yet their speed is not proof that they belong to you. Take one step back. Keep your heart calm. And do not allow a sense of urgency to force you into a choice before clarity has appeared. I can see the end of the road while you have seen only its first few steps. Therefore, my restraint is not a limitation, but a protective embrace keeping you from entering something that would require you to pay with your peace. I understand why it feels difficult for you to stop. What is before you may closely resemble something you have long prayed for. It may appear as an attractive offer, a connection that makes you feel understood, a road promising rapid results, or an opportunity that seems capable of resolving the lack you have carried for so long. When desire has grown strong, it becomes easy to call anything that excites you an answered prayer. Yet you must remember that not everything touching your desires will lead you somewhere good. Some promises fill the heart with joy in the beginning, but leave it exhausted afterward. Some people arrive with great warmth and say exactly what you want to hear. Yet they lack the sincerity required to walk beside you through seasons demanding responsibility. Some choices offer immediate benefit while quietly taking away your self-respect, purity, and ability to live in harmony with your values. Therefore, do not ask only whether something excites you. Ask whether it keeps you in peace, integrity, and growth. In moments like these, emotion may speak very loudly. It tells you that unless you seize the opportunity immediately, you will lose your only chance. It makes you believe that slowing down is the same as failing, and that careful consideration reveals a lack of faith. But what is truly meant for you will not need chaos to force your agreement. It will not require you to betray the principles that helped you remain standing. Nor will it cause you to live in constant fear that everything may disappear if you ask an honest question. What is good may require courage, but it will not demand that you abandon discernment. It may lead you beyond what is familiar, but it will still leave a deep sense of peace within you, helping you know that you are moving toward light rather than chasing an illusion. Therefore, when you feel pressured to decide immediately while your mind remains confused, give yourself permission to pause. Wisdom does not always speak loudly. Often, it is only the gentle reminder that you do not need to give your answer today. You must also understand that the words, "do not touch it," do not always refer to something tangible. Sometimes they concern the things to which you are tempted to return. Perhaps you are considering reopening a door that caused you pain because lonely days have made you forget why you once walked away. Perhaps you want to send a message, restart a conversation, or seek approval from someone who repeatedly caused you to doubt yourself. You may even be preparing to return to an old habit because it offers brief comfort, even though you know you will need many days to recover from it. I do not condemn you for those moments of weakness. I know that emptiness can make what is familiar appear more beautiful than the truth. Nevertheless, do not allow longing to rewrite the past until you forget what you endured. A closed door does not always need to be reopened, and another person's silence is not an invitation for you to continue pursuing them. I led you out of certain places in ways you did not understand at the time. Some things ended suddenly. Some people left without giving you a complete explanation. And certain plans collapsed, just when you believed you were very close to the result. At that time, you saw only loss. But I saw what was being prevented. If everything had continued according to your desire, you might have entered deeply into a bond that caused your inner light to fade. If that person had stayed longer, you might have continued exchanging your peace for a small amount of unstable attention. If that door had opened, short-term success might have drawn you onto a road that did not agree with your greater purpose. Some forms of protection initially appear as disappointment. Only after time has passed do you recognize that what you once wept for was taken away so that you would not experience a deeper pain. Therefore, do not attempt to cross the barrier that wisdom is raising before you. If signs of uneasiness continue to appear, if inconsistencies remain without explanation, and if you must repeatedly ignore your conscience, take these things seriously. Do not use hope to conceal the truth. And do not call attachment faithfulness. You may love someone while still recognizing that they are not suited to continue walking beside you. You may appreciate an opportunity and still refuse it because it requires the sacrifice of too many precious things. You may value what once existed without needing to return there. Maturity is not always revealed through moving forward. Sometimes it is shown through the ability to remain still before an attractive invitation and say that you will move only when clarity is present within you. I know you fear that if you let this opportunity pass, another one may never come. The fear of scarcity often causes you to grasp what is nearest rather than wait for what is most suitable. But my beloved child, what is truly meant for you does not depend upon one panicked moment. You do not need to fight, manipulate, or cross your own boundaries in order to hold it. What is right will arrive at a time when you can receive it with wisdom, and it will not require you to exchange your authentic self for possession of it. I am preparing something more enduring than temporary satisfaction. If you attempt to touch something before it has matured, you may injure yourself and disturb what is being arranged. But when you learn to wait, what comes to you will not only appear beautiful in the beginning, it will also be strong enough to remain beside you when the excitement is no longer new. During this pause, observe what is taking place within you. Why do you feel that you must possess this thing at any cost? Are you acting from peace or from fear of being left behind? Do you truly recognize something good? Or are you merely attempting to fill an emptiness that has not yet healed? These questions are not meant to make you accuse yourself, but to help you recognize the true source of your decision. Once you understand where the decision begins, you will no longer be so easily guided by outward appearances. A heart experiencing lack may turn fragments into treasure, while a hurried mind may interpret warnings as obstacles. Therefore, before reaching out your hand, return to stillness. Give yourself time for the layers of emotion to settle, and then you will see what your initial excitement concealed. If something is truly good and belongs to you, it will not be destroyed merely because you take time to consider it. A sincere person will respect your caution. A healthy opportunity will withstand necessary questions. A proper road will not become wrong simply because you enter it with careful preparation. On the other hand, if something disappears as soon as you establish a boundary, perhaps it was never strong enough to carry your future. Do not grieve what cannot survive the light of truth. Certain things can exist only when you do not ask questions, do not examine them closely, and do not require consistency. As you begin to live more consciously, such things will leave on their own. Not because you have lost a blessing, but because you have stopped giving an unhealthy thing a beautiful name. My beloved child, trust that today's restraint is preparing tomorrow's astonishment. The day will come when you see what has been reserved for you and understand why I did not allow you to grasp the choice before you. You will recognize that waiting did not impoverish you. It matured you enough to distinguish between what merely shines and what truly possesses value. Therefore, keep your hands calm, your heart clear, and do not allow temporary attraction to govern your future. You are not missing something good merely because you know how to pause. The pause itself may be the act that protects what is most precious. I am not taking a gift away from you. I am protecting you from an inferior substitute, so that when what is genuine arrives, you will still possess enough peace, freedom, and wisdom to receive it with complete gratitude. When the paths of two people are truly guided to meet, you will recognize it through deep peace rather than confusion, through the feeling of being understood rather than through endless doubt that leaves you exhausted. My beloved child, do not allow old fear to ruin what is approaching naturally. You have become accustomed to analyzing every glance, weighing every word, and wondering how you must behave so that you will not be abandoned. But the right encounter will not force you to live in that constant tension. What is sincere does not need complicated performances in order to be recognized. The person led to you at the appointed time will not merely see the way you speak or the appearance you carry, but will perceive the stillness, kindness, and depth formed within you through many seasons of testing. Therefore, you do not need to become another version of yourself in order to be loved. I am not calling you into this encounter wearing a new mask. I want you to stand firmly in the truth you have fought so many times to preserve. Remember that in a world where many people imitate whatever receives attention, your authenticity is what makes you different. You do not need to copy the way others speak, imitate anyone's manner, or exaggerate what you possess in order to become memorable. The peace within you will express what boasting never can. The way you listen will create a safe space that others rarely find. The way you remain present without competing for attention will help that person recognize a beauty that cannot be measured by outward standards. You once believed you had to accomplish something great in order to be seen. But sometimes what touches most deeply is the simplicity of someone who is not attempting to become another person. I am teaching you that lasting attraction does not come from turning every eye toward yourself, but from carrying a presence that allows the person before you to rest. The approaching encounter is not merely about someone whom many may admire, pursue, or desire to approach. More importantly, through this journey, you will come to understand your own value at a new depth. You once stood at the edge and wondered whether you had been forgotten. You watched others enter relationships, receive attention, and be chosen, then quietly asked why your own life still held an empty space. But what you called being left behind was actually an appointed season. I did not allow you to be swept into connections that shone brightly at the beginning, but lacked a foundation for enduring difficulty. I kept you away from relationships that would have forced you constantly to prove your worth, tolerate ambiguity, or live with ongoing insecurity. This was not because you were less fortunate, but because I did not want you to give your heart to a place that only knew how to take and lacked the maturity to preserve what it received. While many people rushed to fill loneliness with anyone who appeared, you were taught to wait without losing yourself. That season of waiting sometimes caused pain. But it also taught you to recognize what was genuine and what was merely temporary attraction. You learned that strong emotion is not always evidence of compatibility. Some connections caused your heart to race while also making you continually doubt yourself, lose peace, and move away from your values. Therefore, I taught you to distinguish between what stirs your emotions and what makes your life steady. A meaningful connection will not merely provide beautiful moments, it will also create respect, honesty, and the ability to grow together. You are not being delayed. You are being protected from giving the deepest and most precious part of yourself to someone who knows how to love only through temporary emotion. As that appointed time approaches, pay attention to the smallest movements around you. Not every act of guidance appears as a great sign that you immediately recognize. Sometimes I change the rhythm of your life through an unexpected invitation, an ordinary conversation, another road you decide to take, or one very small decision in your day. You may enter a place you had not planned to visit, meet someone through circumstances you never expected, or begin a new habit without understanding why your heart feels drawn toward it. Do not despise such simple things, because important arrangements are often concealed beneath an ordinary appearance. I do not need to create great noise to lead you to the right place. I only need you to remain watchful enough to recognize when peace is gently showing you the way. You are not walking blindly, even on days when you do not know what awaits you ahead. I am adjusting every step, bringing you to the proper place while also preparing that person upon their own journey. You do not need to search anxiously, because haste often causes you to mistake something that only resembles an answer for the answer itself. Continue living fully in the present. Care for your inner life. Perform your responsibilities well. And keep your heart tender but discerning. What is meant for you will not require you to sacrifice peace in pursuit of it. When the two paths are drawn together, the connection will not force you to abandon your identity or your healthy boundaries. On the contrary, it will help you understand yourself more clearly, express what is true with greater freedom, and mature in the way you love. The world may view that person through fame, achievement, or qualities that many people desire. Yet what causes them to pause before you will not be your ability to compete or your effort to make yourself stand out from everyone else. They will recognize in you something that outward brilliance cannot replace. In places where they have grown accustomed to noise, you will carry stillness. Amid conversations filled with display, you will bring sincerity. Where they have been surrounded by others and yet felt distant, you will be present with a concern that seeks nothing in return. You do not need to heal every wound they carry or assume responsibility for completing their life. But the maturity within you will show them that love can exist without control. Intimacy can be deep without destroying freedom. And care can be sincere without hidden calculation. For this reason, their attention will not remain upon you merely because of outward appearance or a passing impression. They will recognize in you an answer to something they have long sought but could not name. It may be the feeling of being understood without having to explain everything. It may be the security of standing beside someone who is not attracted by status or what they are able to offer. It may be the relief of knowing that you care about who they truly are rather than the image admired by the world. Nevertheless, do not place them upon a position too high. Although many people may notice them, they remain a human being with fears, limitation, and areas that need growth. I want you to enter the connection with respect, not with an idealization that causes you to forget your equal value. When they begin turning their attention toward you, do not allow imagination to run ahead of reality. Give the relationship time to reveal its true character. Observe whether words and actions remain consistent, how they honor boundaries, how they respond when their desires are not immediately fulfilled, and how they deal with differences. Peace does not mean there will never be disagreement, but within a healthy relationship, you will not live in fear that every difficult conversation could become the end. Maturity will teach both people to listen, take responsibility, and repair what has been damaged instead of using silence, manipulation, or threats to gain victory. What has been prepared for you will not only appear beautiful during easy days, it will possess a foundation strong enough to carry both of you through seasons requiring patience and compassion. I am Michael, and I remind you not to make yourself smaller when that moment comes. You do not need to apologize for your depth, hide your sensitivity, or pretend to be indifferent in order to avoid being hurt. Keep your heart open, but do not forget discernment. Allow yourself to rejoice, yet continue walking slowly. Be fully present in your authenticity, because the person refined through all those quiet years is what will make this encounter meaningful. You were not called to impress them. You were called to meet them from a place of stability. And when this happens at the proper time, you will understand that the season of waiting was never an empty space without meaning. It taught you your value, purified the way you love, and prepared you for a connection that will not cause you to disappear, but will help both of you to be seen, respected, and led into a deeper journey. What was once hidden from you was not concealed by accident. I waited until you had become steady enough to receive the truth without being shaken by its weight. Certain things, if revealed too early, would only have confused you further, because you were still viewing everything through wounds that had not yet healed, through the fear of abandonment, and through insecurity gathered over many seasons of testing. Therefore, I allowed some answers to remain beyond your sight, not to cause you pain, and not because you were unworthy of knowing, but because wisdom requires all things to appear at the right time. What you once called a secret was actually being protected from haste, from dishonest hands, and even from your own impatience. But now, the season of silence is gradually closing. What needs to be recognized will not remain covered forever. And what has reached its time to step into the light cannot be prevented by anyone who attempted to bury it, distort it, or make you doubt it. During the years when you believed you had been forgotten, I was quietly performing a deep work within you. When you looked around and saw others moving forward while you appeared to remain still, you did not know that I was building endurance, discernment, and the ability to preserve peace amid things that had not yet been explained. You saw only closed doors, while I saw you learning not to hand your future to every attractive invitation. You felt only delay, while I knew that each waiting day was making you less impulsive, less easily manipulated, and less dependent upon the approval of others. You believed nothing was changing because everything outside appeared quiet. But within you, much had already changed. You no longer returned so easily to what once wounded you. You no longer rushed to believe promises unsupported by action. And you are no longer willing to exchange your peace merely for the feeling of belonging somewhere. This growth is the sign that your season of preparation has reached an important point. I am not saying that you have become perfect or that nothing remains for you to learn. But you can now stand before the truth without allowing it to break you apart. You have learned to listen without reacting immediately, to observe without judging too quickly, and to wait until the picture becomes clearer. This is why things once buried beneath layers of silence are beginning to move. They may appear through an unexpected conversation, a confession, a document that is found, an event that suddenly causes many separate pieces to connect, or a clear inner realization that you can no longer deny, whatever form it takes. This truth will not pass through your life like a temporary wind. It is approaching with a clear purpose, carrying answers to questions that have followed you for too long and opening a new perspective on the entire journey behind you. You need to understand that truth does not merely bring information, it also carries the power of liberation. You have borne certain burdens only because you did not know the entire story. You blamed yourself for things that were never within your control. You concluded that you were not good enough, that you must have done something wrong, or that delay was a sign that you had been excluded. But when light enters what was once concealed, you will realize that many things were not as you understood them. Certain rejections did not occur because you lacked value, but because that place never possessed the capacity to support the good within you. Some relationships ended not because you were unworthy of love, but because the other person could walk only with an earlier version of you. Certain plans were stopped, not to steal your future, but to prevent you from entering a direction that might have consumed many precious years. As clarity arrives, the confused regions within your mind will begin to come into order. You will no longer stay awake at night trying to understand why someone changed, why an opportunity disappeared, or why you always sensed that something had not been spoken. What you have perceived for a long time will finally receive an appropriate explanation, and the doubts that once robbed you of peace will no longer possess the same power. However, I want you to receive the truth calmly, not with the desire for revenge or the need to prove that you were right. What is revealed does not come to make you bitter, but to free you from the chains of the past. If you use the truth as a weapon, you will continue to remain inside the same cycle of pain. But if you receive it with wisdom, it will become the key that allows you to close old doors without continuing to look back. I know there were moments when you doubted everything, including your own direction. You questioned whether your inner perceptions were trustworthy, whether you had lost your way, or whether your cry had disappeared into an emptiness where no one answered. There were days when you did everything within your power, yet the result did not appear. There were nights when you waited for one small sign, and silence continued to surround you. During those times, you believed I was far away, but I never left you. I was present in every slowing that protected you from an unwise decision, in every delayed plan that gave what was unprepared time to come into order, and in every quiet space that forced you to turn inward and recover your stability. My presence is not always recognized through great movements. Sometimes I am near within a thought, reminding you not to send an angry message. Sometimes I protect you through an uneasy feeling that keeps you from entering a place that appears full of promise. Sometimes I guide you through someone who speaks one necessary sentence at the very moment when you are about to give up. And sometimes I say nothing, because silence is the only way to teach you to stop chasing every noise around you. If I answered everything immediately, you might never learn to remain steady before seeing the result. If I explained every turn before you walked through it, you would move only through control and would not truly mature in trust. No. What you are about to receive will connect all those seasons together. You will see why a certain encounter occurred, why someone left precisely when you felt you needed them most, and why there were years that seemed to produce no visible result. Every part of the road will gradually find its proper place within a larger picture. You will realize that what appeared to be losing your direction actually helped you avoid a dangerous place. That the delay which once disappointed you gave you time to heal. And that the years of remaining unseen allowed you to build a deep foundation. Not one tear was disregarded. Not one sincere prayer disappeared. Not one time you stood again after disappointment failed to contribute to the person you are today. Prepare yourself, my beloved child, not through tension, but through openness joined with discernment. When what has been hidden steps into the light, do not fear the changes it may create. Certain truths come to close one door, yet those same truths will open another path. Some revelations will require certain relationships to change. But through that change, space will be created for more sincere connections. Some answers may initially cause pain, but afterward they will return many years of peace to you. I do not bring light to humiliate you or place you in confusion. I bring it because you are ready to leave behind the regions of uncertainty and live with greater understanding. From this moment forward, do not continue calling silent seasons evidence that you were forgotten. See them as the room where your strength was quietly formed. Do not regard delays as punishment, because many times they were barriers of protection. And when the pieces begin returning to their proper positions, remember to remain humble. You do not need to announce to everyone that you now understand everything. Nor must you use what is revealed to wound anyone. Let your maturity be shown through the way you continue, more peacefully, more clearly, less reactively, and no longer easily pulled back into former cycles. What was once hidden is being brought forth at the right time. And you will understand that I never forgot you. I only waited until you were strong enough to hold the truth with steady hands and use it as a light guiding your way, rather than as a fire that burns you from within.